Let's try it out. Just for the fun of it, I guess. So I still have doing a lot of research in regards of this song, and I found the old Danish version of the song of Lord, keep us steadfast in your word. And I'm looking at some of the notes in the book as well. It seems to be somewhat different than what I have here in regards of. You still have, every single verse have like 8, ticks. It seems. I'm not that good at music and all that, but and I think there's a little too much moist in the flute at the moment because I've been, I guess practicing whatever you want to call it, trying, blowing some air in the flute at least. I guess that's at least an honest. But it seems a little. Can I turn? I can turn this around. I have the book from the Danish, and kind of notes here. I think it's pretty much the same for the. Yeah. Oh, did it actually just go out of focus here? But anyway, it's pretty much the same for every single. Just repeats itself. But then I found this one, and I tried to play this, and it didn't really sound right. I guess I have to try that again at some point. But then I found this, and it actually looks somewhat different in the beginning. Now, I don't know in regards of what actually the C2 stands for or whatever. But as I understand the flute thing, and there's this square thing and means something in regards to the C sharp, I think, or something like that. I don't know. Still trying to learn, but there is a point in the song that is very hard to actually. It's down here. I think it's the C note here, and then it goes up to the. Is it the D? I think it's the D. So it goes up to the C, but there's 2 different Cs I can do on the flute. And the thing that actually is the best C note on it, that is the loudest anyway, is it's pretty much doesn't sound really. But again, I need a lot more practice on this song. But let's try it out. I've been practicing. I'm a total noob, but I'm still. I had this program. I just actually got this program today, just to. I've looked into a little bit of the note in the past, long ago, and I wanted to try to, play an instrument that you could have with you, if you ever got bored or whatever, you could all, it needed to be an instrument that you could take along, also in regards of not having a home or whatever, that you could just have it in your pocket and have it along, right? That was the idea of it. And I was thinking in my youth about one of these what is it called, these where you put it in your mouth and but I never really liked the sound of it, I guess, but it was the thing that was nice with these things that you can that is easy to carry along, right? It's not that big and all that, but it's not really. I actually like the flute sound a lot more, and this is, I guess, pretty much as easily to carry along. It's not that big and it's pretty lightweight, so it has some more volume, a little more length than one of these other things. But it can still easily be in your pocket or side pocket. Let's see if we can actually turn it around here. I have like for example down there, right? You can just put it there, for example. Oh, sticking a little out. But anyway, it's it can get along with you. I can have it with me without any problem, I think. But anyway, let's get back to my pretty face here, or whatever. Let's see. We have a little problem in regards of the sun at the moment, but so I got this music craft thing, and maybe I should just there we go. Maybe I should just close this down at the moment, and I just had some practice with it. Actually, I was a little annoyed that you also have unclean animals and all that, but in any case, it actually was it was a little fun. Not totally fun, right? But it was decent in regards of having fun. And but the problem is it cost money, of course. It wasn't actually that expensive. Of course, if you don't have any money, that's kind of. But anyway, going on to the surface. But I tried it like to level round 2, and round 2 you have to pay for the application. I think it's very sad that you usually you can go on, if you just earn the things. You earn shells apparently in this game, and by earning shells, the idea I thought was that you could then open up the second round and third round and all that. But the problem is that the rounds cost more than you can actually collect shells, so you have to pay for it to actually get access to anything that is beyond round 2. So you only have 4 songs to actually try out. But it was kind of fun and all that, and I actually, enjoyed myself a little, and not like it's totally, but you can have a try here in one of them. You have this unclean animal or crap there, and then you have the keyboard or the piano, and then you just go, and then we have a problem. I think it was a D. O, D, C. There we go. You see, it's just small tunes, right? And there's only 24, so it's actually pretty. It doesn't take long to actually get through all of them. As you can see, I pretty much. Let's go back here. As you can see, I pretty much done all of them. Sadly, but you can actually. Make it quicker in regards of tempo, so you have, but yeah, any case. That, it's pretty, the idea was in regards of this to learn or to remember some of the notes or relearn the notes, okay, so we have a tree, so that's it. Okay, it helps me at the beginning. And we have a C, and we have a D, and D, and then we have a C, and then we have a B, and then we have an A, and a G, and a G. Actually, it seems like the G is usually the one I can actually remember. Oh, I have a problem. I think it's a B. Oops. Well, I make a mistake. In any case, so you can see, then you get, and you actually get shells for it. The problem is when you don't get more shells. So even if you play them again and again and again, you can only get 3 shells from each game, and you only have 4 games. So if you only have 4 games, you can get 12 of these shells. And that's just not enough. At least, I can't remember if you get more, but in any case, when you get to round 2, it's just 2, I think it's 30 shells it cost. But if you can't get 30 shells, that's a problem, right? So you have to pay for that. I think it's okay, I get it. It's not that expensive and all that, but yeah. But anyway, it was fun, and well, compared to some of the others that I looked into. Yeah. Just to get a little practice of it. There's still a long way to get more practice of it, to actually get these notes settle in my mind where they are on the thing, but I still. Oh yeah, we should try let's try the flute thing. But I installed some of the programs I've deleted. Some I still have. The problem with many of these programs is just they are boring, to say the least. There's nothing. So this game could actually have been, he could have made it a little bigger, and but there's possibilities in it, that's for sure. At least it makes it somewhat fun, one could probably put other things in it. I've actually written to him in regards of why not make a Christian version, there's a lot of tunes in regards of the Christian faith, easy tunes, your small easy tunes like Lord keep us steadfast in your word. That should be a tune that should be able to be in the some of the good Protestant tunes and all that, just get it in there, and instead of clams, which is an unclean animal, you would just fix it with a sheep instead, and then instead of shells, you would get pearls, for example, and then you can have like the broken bread in the background flowing by, and the tree flowing by, or some wine flowing. I don't know, but in any case, you could make a Christian version out of it, and there was a huge amount of tunes out there, and it would be he already have the idea of it, the program. He has the programming done and all that, so it wouldn't actually just need to find some tunes and all that. That would be great, and some graphic work and all that. That would. In any case, I tried it out, and just to get some more, getting more accustomed to the notes. But again, it's still not stuck in my head. I still have problems with it, but it's you have to start at some point, right? Anyway, let's try the. If maybe I can set this over here, maybe. Yep. Well, that's me. But anyway, up, Stacy. Hopefully we have closed everything. Yup. So, you never know. Sometimes I forget it. When in my younger days, I have these pants which closed automatically. Just wonderful. Just had, some of this strap thing where it's just, you didn't need to do anything. You could just, unload, the water and, then be going, in some sense. So you didn't need to, snip up and all that. Anyway, let's try. Let's see if we can. This is not going to be beautiful, and there's probably some issues with the flute at the moment because it has a little, I try to, it's still, I'm not, But anyway, let's try it out. So, I'm not sure how, actually, in regards to the speaker, if it's the speaker down here, that's a problem. Oh, maybe I can turn the mobile around like this instead. Oh, well, the camera's up there. So maybe we can turn it this way. Oh, there we go. Hopefully. See if it wants to turn on the camera. Come on. Well, the camera is a little stuck. Hopefully it will come about. Hopefully. That's a problem with this program, And actually, it's not only this program. There we go. Every single program that I've tried, so it might have something to do with the mobile in regards of, getting stuck. Every single recording I've used, they tend to get stuck sometimes. I think it must be something in regards to the mobile. It seems like when there's more resources being used or something like that. Anyway, let's try. I think there might be something wrong with the flute. Usually sometimes you need to let it dry a little in regards to Again, it gets get a little moist from the, you have your tongue on the snippet and all that, and so sometimes you just need to relax the flute, and I guess it will play better hopefully after it has. It doesn't seem totally right. Seems like it's a little broke, but of course, my playing is broke as well, so that's go hand in hand, I guess, with it. Let's try again. Let's see here. It doesn't really sound like it doesn't sound high enough. It doesn't and if I try to actually blow a little more to get a little higher, it just begins to stall on me. So again, I think there might be some fluid in there someplace that blocks the idea of it. Anyway. And actually, I should have probably have fixed my nails beforehand. Sorry about that. I didn't expect actually to, but yeah, it is at the point where I probably should fix my nails. Yeah, it is getting there, that's for sure. Yeah. Anyway, I should do that. I should actually see how much they grow. I have this tradition, whatever you want to call it, that for example, that I'm trying to get used to actually just taking my hair and my beard and all that when the new moon is there, and then hopefully at some point I can usually this is around full moon, I think, or something like that, and that's great. So at some point I will probably get more used to where we are in the month by just knowing I don't know. But anyway, maybe I should do the same thing with the nails. I don't know how fast they actually grow, but maybe I think they probably grow a little faster, so probably 2 times a month. So maybe in the beginning of the month and at full moon, it would be a good ritual to remember, okay, it's full moon, it's time to cut my nails, right? Anyway, it's just to get used to the biblical month and all that in regards of following the moon, and so. And it's not written in the Bible, it's just something that I just use to try to get. Anyway, let's try again. I should probably try to make it again when the flute is actually better. Again, the practice is still there, of course. And that's the C note, and it doesn't really sound right? And there's 2 C notes, as I understand it, on the flute. There's or this one, but I'm not. And that sounds a little more sharp. So if you go from maybe it's okay. Maybe I just need to get more into the. Let's try again. I just need to get the melody rolling, I guess, maybe. But there's this square thing, and sometimes when the square thing, you need to use the C sharp or something like that. But of course, I don't know. This is not for the flute, of course. This is just notes. So I don't know if there's any difference. I have some of these tin flutes books and all that where it talks about it, some of the information. But anyway, but the problem is they have all these, I guess, pagan songs. They should make it with some Christian tunes instead. That would be great. Of course, there are tunes out on the internet, freely available. Sorry again. I don't think it sounds totally correct here. last part sounds pretty, it sounds pretty right. Just not the third part. The second part is pretty good. The third part, I have some there's some issues in regards of sounding, totally correct. But I do wonder in regards to the Danish old version, this book from the 16th century, I think it's for 66 or something like that. But it's a replication of an old book. But the notes are different for this song. And I've been looking at the German versions, but of course they're from the 19th century or something like that. I don't have any old notes from the German version. It would be interesting to see at least how Luther actually... But of course I'm not sure how different the notes are. There's this C2... I don't know what C2 means with like a line over it. And then it has different notes. It also have like squares. I guess the squares must be the long tones, because that would fit the new tones. You start out, I think, with a longer tone. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's a little longer. Like. It doesn't sound right, but I would guess it would be a longer tone. I can't remember. Anyway, but I think when you listen to the song, it's like da 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 da. So then you have the longer thing on the last part and the first part, and that would fit the notes, regards of being longer. So I guess this Danish old book seems to. Let's see if we can. That would be actually this one. It would start with. Okay, let's try again. I guess it might sound a little like it. I don't know. Let's try again. Okay. Oh no, we're not getting. We're actually getting only down there. So it uses again. I don't know why but at least if I'm going by this, it's somewhat different. But anyway, let's see here. But maybe they can move it up or down compared to different scales or whatever. I don't know. The next one is, let's see here. No, the next one actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's actually 9. Why is 9? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that goes. Okay. So actually, it closes with a long and it starts with a long compared to this, it seems. That would fit. So and it ends with the square, and then it begins with a square and ends with a square. I would guess, but then it doesn't. It doesn't have a square in the beginning here. It's with the last sentence. It seems. It just. Oh, well, that's right. From the beginning. Okay. It doesn't really say, but it seems it actually is higher up in tone compared to the other one, so that doesn't make it better on the flute having the at least. maybe I just need to become better, or maybe there's some things that I don't understand here in regards of it. In the new one, it also jumps one. Here jumps no, jumps two. Okay, that's true. And then jumps down again in the beginning. Yeah, that's true. And then it goes down one. Yeah, that's true. And it goes up, and it seems to be true. And then it seems to actually go a whole up, and yeah, okay, it actually follows along, but it seems everything is just moved to one more, one up. I don't know if that's probably different scales or something like that. Then it moves down, yeah, one, yeah, and then it moves one down again. Yeah, that seems to be the case as well. So it seems the notes on the English here is just one lower than the other. But as I understand it, this should be correct in regards of modern standards and all that. In regards of there's this weird sign over. Oh yes, yeah. There's this weird musical sign over here, and apparently that seems to be meaning that it's that I'm. That's okay for, in regards of playing, compared to the notes that I know in regards of that's actually also primarily the thing they uses in these books, which I haven't really, I haven't really gone through. I should probably go through more of them, and I have the music in music form. So I could actually just listen to it and get used to some of the tunes. But the problem is the tunes, I don't think is biblical tunes. I think it's more of the worldly tunes and all that. So it would have been nice to have a whistle with... yeah. We get it on the mobile as well. Oops, daisy. Oh no. Oh, that was oh well. That was not, at least that was not any information in regards of that. That's okay. Shouldn't be a problem. So in any case, I have to practice a little more and again get this flute. But again, I'm checking the English version, the German version, and the Danish version. And I'm actually in regards to the new modern Danish standard today. Maybe I can I just yeah, there we go. That's a little better. I've looked in regards to the Danish version and fixed the second sentence which has been censored and all that. And then there's 3 words that are old words, like in regards of who would know in our days what these words means. And I think I found a substitute to all 3 of them. As one of them that I need to look a little more into. But overall, it seems to work, and it seems to be pretty good, I think. So, fixing the Danish version so everybody can understand what is actually said. And also not having it censored, by closet papers or whatever that all those ecumenical people that thinks we shouldn't speak about we shouldn't speak against Roman Catholicism. Well, if you remove the sentence in regards of Roman Catholicism and in regards of Mohammedanism, you destroy the whole idea with the song, So there's English versions, German versions, and Danish versions that has pretty much been tampered with, or polished, as they call it, or whatever. But we'll correct that, So I pretty much have the German versions where the corruption is not there, and all the German versions that I've seen is pretty much the same. I do actually, reading at the moment, and I'm not sure it actually is there, but it should be in there. This is Martin Luther book. Oh, now the camera is over here. But this is in regards to Martin Luther, and it's in regards to the appeal for prayer against the Turks, which, as I understand it, was released 1541. So this is in his late years. and I'm reading this and I haven't finished it, but I do wonder where the prayer is. As I understand it, the prayer, oh my head. As I understand it, the prayer should be in the book someplace. But I haven't really been able to find it just by quick by having a quick look on it. But I haven't read it all, and as I understand, it should be in there. In any case, I'll read it, and I do wonder when they are, pointing to scripture in the book. I do wonder if this is something that Luther has inserted, or those that translated putting it in there. That would be interesting to know. Maybe I can find out in regards to the translators, or of course, if I could just see some of the originals in German, I could probably see, find me if it actually is in the original German, or if this is something they just have inserted, just to I don't know. That would be interesting to see. Yeah. But I have, as I understand it, this document, Appeal for Prayer Against the Turks, was said to be the book where the prayer was first found, and then later on in 1542 was made into a song. So I want to see the original, at least from the first document here in English, which is then translated. So, but of course, if I can find the German, that would be very nice at some point to see. But if I can find where it is in the English, then it will be easier for me to find it in the German document, because I don't know German, and if I know where to look, then it would make it a little easier. But he's talking about the Antichrist, the Mohammedans, and that's pretty much like some interesting stuff as usual. Reading, reading him. Here we have, It must have been him that inserted the places. I don't know. Oh well. So this is something for reading. I got it from the library. It's very nice. It's not easy to actually, because it needs to, from a university library and all that. But I know they have them. It's just, so I had to call them and find, get them to fix it for me. But it, it succeeded in the end. That's another option, is that I could buy the books, but then of course you need to pay money, and again. But I have a program on the mobile, which where I know I can get the books from there. They're still updating the program. Hopefully it will get better and better and better. It's still kind of slow in it, but it's like Accordance. I know Logos or something like that. Logos also have a program. I haven't really used it that much, but Accordance has an application as well. And if there's something that you can't get free on the free programs, it's just nice to be able to have it from another place, and that's Accordance. The program is still kind of slow on my mobile phone, but it's still a work in progress, as I understand it. So hopefully they will make it more fluently. It seems to really, really use the mobile a lot in regards to power. So, but anyway, I guess I'll try to make a video after it dries out. I also got another book. That's a Danish book. That's a big book. And I'm not going to I'm not really a book reader and all that, but there are some interesting stuff in regards of iconoclasm in Denmark. Gods of images and idols being destroyed. We love that. Yeah. Down with the idols and images. Burn them all, and, get a hammer. And and I remember actually reading about it, and then I saw another source that said, no, it really didn't really happen and all that. And now this book actually talks about it actually happening. So someone was lying, or I didn't know any better, but they were saying no, it didn't really happen and all of that. So I was like, and this book actually talks about that it happened in Copenhagen, and so there's some interesting things to read there as well. I don't know how big it was in regards to this. Actually, I think it actually was from I think it was one of these lectures from a university or something like that that I actually read about it. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. But it was, where they talked about that as actually was not true and all that. But this book has some information on it, it seems. But of course, it was the Psalms that was the part that I was looking into in regards of the old songs, in regards of the Reformation. It's just a big book, and the problem, of course, is where to start. Or there's some subjects here and there that's interesting. So I guess it's just a book to this subject. I want to know a little about that. Okay, I don't know. But anyway, I got it along, and yeah. There's also some information in regards of Mary. There was something in regards of them actually changing a lot of, or I'm not sure about a lot, but I've read, including this book, has some information on it as I understand it. And but I saw another source talking about that actually changed a lot of the Roman Catholic songs, which had all these things about Mary, and then changed them to so they didn't have all this abomination in the songs. And it talks a little about this Mary thing as well. Then of course I have the book that is used to actually uphold the mobile at the moment. That's the Danish songbook. It's actually right there. Let's see if we can turn it. Again, an old, a reprint of an old book from the 16th century, or I think actually around middle 16th century. What is it called? 1550 or 1560 or 50 something. An old book, in any case. It's like old letters, and it's just hard to actually read. Not only is it old Danish, it's also these letters just doesn't make it easier. But as you can see, there's the notes down here. But again, it's different than if they're a little higher than these notes. But maybe I haven't checked all of it, but maybe it actually is in some sense the same if you just lower it one or something like that. It seemed to be some of the case. I have to check that. I have some other I've looked into in regards to the English from the 19th century. Oh, we have to remove this. I actually threw a lot of the papers out. I had had like 20 papers or something like that. They're from 20 songbooks or something like that. And a lot of the songs had the corruption, and then those that didn't have the corruption, I checked them in regards of one that I had, and I fixed if there was a variation, I put it in on one paper and all that. So I have that paper still. And then I pretty much threw all the other ones out. So I didn't have all these, papers. I have a, huge amount of articles and all that. And these songs. So the thing is, I threw out some of those with the notes as well. And actually, I found another source that is not a newer edition. They probably also have notes for some of them. That was a lot of pages as well. I need to check those as well. But that's a modern version compared to the older German version, and that was an English version. So I had both from the German version, and then I have from the English that I need to check into, or I have checked the German, but not the notes. I think there's two papers where there are actually notes on the song in the Germans, and then I have to check the English, and there probably is in regard. Actually, these notes that I have here from the paper is actually from the English, and they also have different actually notes on the page, it seems, but I guess some of them is for playing piano or something like that, because you're not able to put two notes at a time. on the flute, but you might be able to do that on the piano, right? You have two hands and all that. So I guess it must maybe be something in regards to that, you know, where you push two buttons at the same time or whatever. I don't know. But at least they seem to have the melody, and it says the melody only. So that's, I printed out, and yeah, sounds like it is that, right? So that's pretty much it, I guess. Pretty good with the sun. It's pretty hot today. So actually yesterday it was pretty hot as well. So I guess, you know, just continue with the research, and then hopefully in the end I will have a Danish version that I'm satisfied with, and an English version that I'm satisfied with, and a German version that I'm satisfied with, and all of them should actually be able to be played on the same notes. So if I could make the notes somehow, I don't know how I would figure, but there must be something where you can fix notes in a document or something like that. And if I can fix them in there and then just put the text for all of the versions, you know, and just put it out there on the internet, you know, non-censored version of Martin Luther's, you know, song, little, you know, child song against the two arch enemies of Christianity, the so-called Pope, the Poop, and the false prophet Muhammad and all his followers who haven't found out that he's a false prophet. It's just incredible. How much destruction have that man not made in regards of the Muhammad? You know, it's incredible how much destruction and fear and, you know, killing and blood and pain and all that man have created. That's like 1600 years ago, and it's still continuing the stupidity of falsehood. Yeah. Pretty much seems to have replaced the true living stone with a dead stone on the Kaaba, running 7 times around this box and kissing the black stone. A dead black stone that cannot save anyone. Oh well. As I understand it as well, doing some research, actually a lot of the traditions in the Mohammedan faith is based on pagan traditions. But there are some interesting things from the Arabs in regards of where there are some doctrines that they had before Muhammad that actually seems close to, you know, if Ishmael, if the Arabs is from Ishmael, well, then Ishmael would probably have known some of his views from his father and so forward. And, so there are some things where, you know, where I've been reading as like, okay, that sounds, you know, biblical, some of it, you know, it's just interesting that they would have those traditions. But again, if it goes back to Ishmael in regards to the Arabs, that of course would make sense that they would have something from Abraham. So, you know, that's just an interesting thing, I guess. Of course, they could have gotten it from other things, but, you know, apparently the Arabs got into a lot of idolatry. So, and of course, it seems Muhammad didn't make it any better. He just collected all the pagan, the pagan Arab groups and into one agreeable pagan faith. And the stupidity of it all, you know. Anyway, and then began to conquer the world by the sword of the hand and deception and fear. Oh well. So that's pretty much it. Rejecting Jesus in regards of his divinity, his sacrifice, his what is it called? His resurrection, because they don't believe he died. So if he didn't die, he couldn't be resurrected, right? So that's three pillars of truth that they reject. So thereby, it's very clear that Muhammad was a false prophet. Very, very clear. Shouldn't even be a question for a Christian. And now Christians say that we worship the same God and all that. That's bullshit. I don't like using that word, but that's what it is. It's utterly bullshit. You see, Allah has no son. The Mohammedan God, so-called God, Allah has no son. That's interesting, right? Because the biblical God has a son. The Word made flesh. Yeah. Anyway, interesting to see in regards of the scriptures where the Word comes to the prophets and talk to them. I wonder who that could be who came to the prophets and, talk with them. I wonder who it could have been to talk to Abraham. The judge of the world. Who is the judge of the world? Oh, isn't that Yeshua that is the judge of the world? Oh yeah, Jesus. Abraham was standing and talking to the God-man. He was talking to Jesus, Yeshua, before he left to judge the wicked cities and let it rain fire and brimstone from his Father in the heavens down on the cities. Oh my. It's not really that difficult. Come on, people. Read your Bible. And if you're Mohammedan, just trash that, trash that book, burn it or something. You just have to be careful if you're a Mohammedan society, because your Mohammedans are pretty sick in their head. So if they have like a heretic, or what is it called when you leave Islam or Mohammedanism, you are a target for getting slayed. But I guess it's, everlasting life does seem a lot better than eternal death, right? So anyway, it's insane. Oh yeah, if you leave Mohammedanism, a target for being killed, for being murdered, because you won't follow these false doctrines of Muhammad, rejecting the ransom of God's Son who died for the sins of the world on the tree. One thing is to pick out wolves in sheep clothing. Another thing is to just, having this stinking, smelly wolf that you can, smell from miles away. And people, 1.8 billion people following this stinking wolf, You have to be kidding me, people. God gave you a brain, eyes to read and a mind to understand. Yet you have rejected the truth. Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad. So anyway, but it's a nice song. But here we have one of these corruptions in this version again. Lord keep us steadfast in your word. And then the corruption. Curb those who by deceit or sword. Curb those who by deceit or sword would wrest the kingdom from your Son, and bring to naught all he has done. Yeah, it's a bad version, I think. There's other English versions. It seems like, actually, in regards to this song, that in regards of versions, in the German, it just seems like there's pretty much one version, it seems. Besides the corruption in line 2. But the English, is a bunch of of different versions of this song, and I haven't gotten them all. Far from it, I think, but I at least have at least three versions of the English. I might have more, but at least three versions that. In regards to the Danish version, I have three versions of the Danish now, and there might be more, but I'm not sure. I think I have pretty much. I have the old version, and then I have one version from this popular guy, and then I have the new version that they use still today. And I found out who the guy was that started the corruption, but I'm not sure that's actually the same version we use today. I'm not sure. I haven't really, there's a lot of things. Well, of course it doesn't. In the end, it doesn't really matter as long as we get the corruption away and fix it. If I can just make a good version of it, that people can understand and all that, it doesn't really, it's interesting to see what and so forward in regards of corruption and all that. But in the end, it doesn't matter. If you just fix it, it's fixed, right? So, and I think I'm getting closer to that. Now that I also got I see some of the old words seems to actually go back to the, the 15th or 16th century. To the oldest version that we have in Danish. And some of these words we just don't use in Denmark anymore, and yet they still have it in the song. And I think I found some words that we can change that with, and then still have the song available for singing. And in regards to the melody, still keeping to the melody and all that. So I think I found some good replacements. At least I still need to still evaluate and look into, but I think I'm getting in the right direction. And again, the German version, there's pretty much only two versions. It seems to be the second line that it's mostly changed. And I might have seen more than one way of corrupting the second line in regards to the German, but mostly all of the rest is pretty much the same in every single German version that I've seen. There are small variations in regards to how you pronounce the words and all that, and I don't know why. There might be something in regards again of old German and new German as well. In regards of Diamond or Simon, I don't know. I have to ask see if I can ask the German guy about that. See if he can get some. Still need some translation on some of the German from the other source to get. Again, it doesn't really matter much, but again, it's just getting the background of the history from the German, why they took it out and so forward. It's. Well, we already know, of course, well, in some sense, but it's just nice to have it verified what they say and all that. But as you can see, they use the same notes for all the three verses. They pretty much use the same notes, so you just play the thing again and again and again, three times in total. And I also found out in regards to this song that it actually was a finishing song. So every single time you have, for example, as I understand, if you have been in church, for example, and you have been singing songs or whatever, the ending song would have been this song. So every single time you had, whatever, you were together with others singing and all that, you would end with this child song. So everybody would know in regards of the papacy and the Mohammedans, in regards of arch enemies, at least they would have been pointed in that direction. And yet, the Protestants, they don't know who the Protestant protested against. The Protestants, I don't know. We can't even. That was actually he's dead now, but he was a Roman papist, and he says, well, maybe we are all Catholics now again. Because the protest is over, they say. Well, the protest is not over, but and will never be over until Jesus or Yeshua cast the Antichrist into the fire. But anyway, so there will always be a protest. I think it started in the very beginning in the first century and have been kept on going. But anyway, yeah, but he was talking about that, well, maybe we're all Catholics again. Well, he has some truth in that in regards of the Protestants are not protesting anymore. They're not protesting the Antichrist. They're not protesting against this whore riding the beast. They're not protesting anymore. They don't know anything. They don't know who the Antichrist is. They don't know who the who the whore of Revelation is. That great city who rules over the kings of the world. Which city is that? Rome, Rome, Rome your boat. It's just all roads leads to Rome. There's a lot of Latin and lies. Well, Latin and lies. Why would you mix? Why would you have a saying that says Latin and lies? Why would that be mixed together? Well, at least we have that saying in Danish anyway. We also have all roads leads to Rome, right? Yeah. Then you have the word bullshit. And I haven't verified it. I haven't been able to verify it. But I could, in regards of the bulla or the bull, in regards of the Antichrist, and knowing that we are former, that we have some culture from former or from our ancestors who was Protestants. And what did the Protestants do? They protested. So in regards of bullshit, in regards to the papal bull, which Luther, for example, burned in the fire with the law books of Rome as well. Just wonderful. Anyway, so I think that saying might actually come from Well, anyway, we might have more sayings out there. It's very interesting. Why don't we know anything, people? Why don't we know anything? Anything. People they just don't know. You ask them, who's the Antichrist? Yeah, who's the Antichrist? They don't know. And if you begin talking about in regards of the Roman emperor and all that, the triune tyrant being the Antichrist, the seat and office of the papacy and all, people don't want to talk to you. It's like, just they flee away from you, or they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Like, hey, are you not Christians? Don't you like reading the Bible and finding out what prophecy says? Or talking about the little horn, the Roman little horn on the Roman beast, who think to change times and laws, and who persecute the saints. Who are the saints according to the book of Revelation? Those that keep God and protect the commandment of Jehovah and the testimony of Jesus Christ, or Yeshua HaMashiach. So who has persecuted the Christians? Who has persecuted the Christians? Who has made an endless, like a huge, gigantic blood river, river of blood or whatever, a huge gushing river of blood. Well, Rome. All roads leads to Rome, right? Anyway, so if you can find the Roman emperor, you have found the Antichrist. Where's the Roman emperor? Anyway, the triune tyrant, the high priest of paganism, Pontifex Maximus. Oh yeah, what was Constantine? He was high priest of sun worship, Pontifex Maximus. Have the what is it called? The short form of it. Pontiff. That's the word, right? The man of the number 666. Where is he? Where's the man of the number 666? And then you're getting told, oh, he's there and he's there and he's there and every other place. Then, yeah, well. The man full of dead men bones. Yep, but Luther warned us about it. Actually, he wrote the book Against the Roman Papacy, an Institution of the Devil. In 1545, that's one of his last books that he wrote before he died in 1546. So he has all his experience behind him writing this book. Well, if you don't understand in regards to the title, if the title is not clear enough, you nearly have 100 pages on it. So it's a good reading, you know. He's kind of rough in his words. He's very rough. Actually, he's very, very rough. Well, at least it's just telling us about it, not like in our days, so-called shepherds singing love songs, you know, ecumenical union with the Antichrist. It's insane. It's totally insane. Totally nutcase, you know. They want to follow the Pope, you know. His utmost smelliness, you know. That unholy faker. Oh, you people, wake up. There's two things in this world that are very important to know. I think actually the most important things to know in this world. First thing is to know who Jesus Christ is, because if you know who Jesus Christ is, no one can lead you astray from that. There's a lot of deceptions out there, and the two most popular false versions on the market is the Roman Catholic version and the Mohammedan version of Jesus Christ, because they are both false. The Roman Catholics have the cookie Jesus, which they think, to make this round cookie into his body, soul, and sinews and so forward, and then they sacrifice him all over again and again and again and again and again and again and again in the Roman Catholic whorehouses. Of course, they have all the Mariolatry thing as well, idolatry, whatever, you know. But of course, then we have the Mohammedans, which have made, have the fictive version of Jesus as only a prophet, a second great prophet compared to Muhammad. Only a prophet. Not God, not divine, not dying for the sins of the world on the tree once and for all, and thereby not resurrecting. 3 ground pillars of truth that they reject. And of course the Roman Catholic, the one group is just wolves, plain stinking wolves. The other group is wolves in sheep clothing. Very deceptive, both of the groups in some sense, but one group should be very easy to find out or sniff out by the Christians. And apparently, in our days, people don't know anything, so they even fall for and believe that the Mohammedans are worshipping the same God as the Christians. When the Roman Catholic says that they're worshipping the same God as the Mohammedans, I think they are speaking some truth in regards to that. Because they're both worshipping the devil. Anyway, so these are that's 3 billion people already there deceived by Satan. So, yeah. So one have the cookie version Jesus, the other have the only prophet version Jesus, Just nothing with the truth. Jesus died once and for all. He's the living bread. He's the bread that was broken. He's the wine that poured out. The blood. His blood poured out. His wine. We do it to remember what he did for us. We break the bread. We drink the wine to remember what he did for us. Not that it becomes the literal body, blood, and sinews and divinity of Jesus Christ. You guys are totally insane. You totally have. You're totally twisting the scriptures to try to, what's the script? Yeah, give me a break. Just talking to Roman papists, Romanists, and Mohammedans. It's just, insane. It's just insane. Just so deceptive, It's just so sad. Yeah. And then they will point to, Jesus says this is my, this is my body, and so, and you need to eat it and so forward. He's talking about his living bread that came down from heaven that we need to believe. You need to believe that his body was broken once and for all. You need to believe that his wine, his blood poured out for the sins of the world, that he died once and for all. It's symbolic. It's just insane. It's symbolic. It's just insane. Actually, this was one of the issues that I think Luther didn't cast off him. But we have to remember this was in the beginning of the Reformation, and they had a lot of Catholic leaven in them. One thing is to turn from Catholicism, Roman Catholicism. Another thing is to get out all the leaven, from you. It's if you have lived your whole life as a Roman Catholic, it takes time to get that leaven out of you. So, but the Protestants, the Reformers, turned the boat around. They were beginning. They were trying. They were They were beginning to take rope from Satan and try to get the leaven out, and beginning to stand for truth, reading the scriptures, standing for what the Bible says, and I have no idea. In Denmark we have had like 500 years to read the Bible, and yet we haven't come further than this. We're still keeping Sunday in regards to the venerated day of the sun god Sol Invictus. I have many other names, but anyway, why are we still continuing Sunday as the last day of the week? It was changed in 1972 and effect in Denmark in 1973. So I guess 1973 was the first year in Danish history that Sunday, by man-made decree, became the last day of the week. Before that, nearly, many hundred, always been the first day of the week. Sunday, that we call it Sunday, but it's the first day of the week, So if that's the first day of the week, you can calculate which day is the last day of the week, right? Saturday is the last day of the week. Oh well, anyway. It's just insane. I already knew a little about it in regards to the Reformation. It seems Andreas Karlstadt already seemed to, think in that direction in regards to the Sabbath. So it's, I don't know how far he actually got with it, if he actually got to the point of actually knowing. I think he actually got to the point, but I'm not entirely sure. He was actually told, by Luther, as I understand it, in one of his debates, that if they are going to follow the Bible, well, you need to keep Saturday and not Sunday. And I think that when the light up in Andreas Karlstadt's, he might still have had some doubt about it. I don't know, because you need to verify things. There's a lot of corruptions and all that. So, but in any case, it seems Luther actually got Andreas kicked out of Wittenberg, and Andreas was actually the professor that actually, as I understand it, gave the professor title to Martin Luther. And sadly, Andreas ended getting kicked out. Yeah, that's very, very sad. But anyway, very interesting material. I think a very important piece of the Reformation, and there's a lot of slander in regards of him. And funny enough, it seems to coming from the Lutherans. But anyway, but I think it's one of the I think it's the most underrated reformist or reformer or protester of the of that time. It seems like Karlstadt goes from being very, I've read his 151 theses before Luther, and I had hoped that there was, some force behind Karlstadt already at that point. As I understand it, Luther and Karlstadt was colleagues. As I understand it, actually both of them, as far as I know, was actually in regards to the bulla from the Karlstadt. And while Luther could be in Wittenberg, he kicked out it seems he was actually the cause for getting Andreas kicked out. And as I understand it, if you were actually condemned as a heretic by the Antichrist, well, you were allowed to kill that person, And so it must have been very dangerous for Andreas. There's a lot of the things that I those final days, which is very sad. And I don't know why Luther should be, why he would have so much anger against Karlstadt, because Karlstadt was just seeking the truth. But anyway, it seems like after Luther, it seems like something, Karlstadt was, it's called a radical. So after Luther really, or at least for Luther, it seems. I need to read those, because while Luther is away, Andreas is running things, and he's pushing, the protest and so forward. There's some wonderful documents, and in regards of Wittenberg agreeing in regards, they make up a document, and I think in regards of also be pointed to Luther that he was, the one behind the things. But it actually seems some of those things is actually Karlstadt and not Luther, and the credit is given to Luther and not Karlstadt. I think some of the things Luther just had to follow along, because he couldn't do much anything else. But Karlstadt. So, as I understand it, Luther, actually saw him as his superior in learning. At least I've read in regards of that. And he actually writes a wonderful letter, a very peaceful letter to Andreas, where he says, well, if I die and so forward, just continue. Some of the other letters are just so what is it called? The opposite, it's where he really, like for example, in regards to the Eucharist, for example, Andreas, as far as I understand, did not believe that the cookie or the Eucharist becomes the body of Jesus Christ and all that. But Luther still kept, actually invested in this doctrine, because Zwingli also found out, well, it's actually only symbolic. And if we actually go back to Wycliffe, as I understand it, also only saw it as symbolic. But I think there was something in regards to Wycliffe. There was some popes. There was more than one pope, and thereby so-called popes. So they had conflict between each other. So people, but he also translated the Bible and all that, and so as far as I know, he rejected that, that this, and actually at that point in regards of Wycliffe, this doctrine had only been around for what was like 100 years, where it had been, promoted as a doctrine, you know. So, and Wycliffe was what from? It was before 1300 in regards to Wycliffe, 1400, 14. I can't remember. In any case, he was. So you have Wycliffe, you have Zwingli, and then you have, as I understand it, the Anabaptists didn't rejected this as well. I think the Anabaptist actually was the one getting closest to Jesus Christ. And sadly, it seems Luther also had a problem with the Anabaptists. Now, there was a in regards to that city, and I can't remember what it was called. That was in Germany, and I can't remember if that was the same where Luther ended up being the one actually. You know, he talks about that he was the one that actually had killed these peasants and killing 100,000, I think it was, by the pen, you know, by his, issues, that's for sure. But that doesn't mean there's not any truth. You know, there's, you know, you have to divide the things, and you have to remember this is in the beginning of the Reformation, and you know, so just because something is, you know, wrong, doesn't mean that they didn't get anything else correct. And in regards of the Antichrist, I think Martin Luther would probably not have minded me being burned on the stake, you know. So yeah, so but he was a heavyweight in regards of getting a lot of, you know, he opened the door for, you know, standing against the whole system here, you know. And it seems from his letter that, you know, that he was expecting that there might be a good chance that he would be killed for his views, which wouldn't be a surprise, you know. That's happened before, so as there wouldn't be you know, by other people. So yeah. As I understand it, Andreas Karlstadt was actually the second person. You know, the devil have his ways of not getting the truth out, and you know, hiding, really, you know. But so it seems like Andreas actually got censored in regards of some of his material, and you know, he had to, you know, when he had his material, he needed someone to print it, right? And apparently it seems there was some, you know, editing going on as well on some of the censored, you know, when we're speaking the truth and all that. We are getting censored on so many levels. We're getting deleted, we're getting banned, we're getting, you know, it's just, I've never been so censored, or what do you call it? I've never had so many posts and things deleted until I became a Christian, you know. It was just, after I became a Christian, you know, it's just amazing, you know. And now that the whole, you know, my YouTube account was deleted as well by YouTube, that's a huge amount of information as well getting down the drain. All my writings on YouTube, you know, because YouTube don't just delete you in regards, they delete, you know, they might still have it on their servers, you know, on their servers, but no one can, you know, I can't access it, and no one can see any videos from me. Because YouTube thought that, you know, that guy apparently is, you know. So I was censored. I didn't even care about the, you know, all that, you know. I think one of the things that pretty much destroyed YouTube was the money thing. I just hate that. You know, it's just, you know, oh, people, for example, will make catch bait on their videos, so you end up with a huge amount of videos out there where people are just putting it out there to get money, you know. So in regards of advertising, I think personally, you know, I see, you know, I might be a little over the top here, but you know, advertising to me is, you know, from the devil, you know, copyright of the devil. They share everything with each other. You know? It's also much easier to get information access to that. If I have some information that I've done research on and all that, if I put a price on it, well, a lot less people will probably see that information. But if I put it out there freely, you know, and then I'm studying a subject, and thereby I can see their conclusions and all that, and grow by that, instead of selling the thing. So you take and you give, it's just on so many. So that's a much better system, I think. Instead of copyright, give me a break, copyright and copywriting the Bible, and then when you need to copyright and so much, so they can, they need to find words that might mean some of the same, but yet still, to get a copyright thing on it. Yeah, just copyright. Are you seriously saying that you want to copyright God's word? That's just incredible. Anyway, so I don't really like copyright, and I don't like the license is actually, so this is given free, but if you make something for it, you are not, it's, you give back to the, like for example, let's see, I make a book, for example, and I put that book out freely, and someone thinks, okay, well, I'll added something to the book, then, that thing that is then made for the book is then allowed for me to use, or just a book, whatever, something, and give it out freely with this license. As I understand it, then if you make something for that book, that you can really, you can use it and whatever you do, but if you make something to it, then I'm also allowed to use that. I think that seems to be pretty fair, right? It seems to be pretty fair, and it's the same thing as I understand it with Linux. If someone uses it and makes some, so one can, that we can all build on each other. It's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Instead of all this money, and just money, it just destroys everything. It seems, Advertising. A lot of this advertising is just advertising for a lot of devilish things. Gambling, right? Drinking. To really destroy YouTube. I don't know if it actually was after Google bought YouTube that began or whatever, but that was, I think that was the beginning where, all the advertising. Oh, I hate, life is short. Why would I use time on advertising? So no. So I think that destroyed a lot of things. Yep. I guess I got a little off topic. I should probably do some more research or playing my flute or whatever, just practicing maybe a little. But anyway, yep. Let's see if we can get out here. There we go. It's a little slow. I do wonder when it actually records. I do wonder if it actually, I guess it probably don't take the information that I put it to like 480p and 2 megabit per second and 15 frames per second and all that. They probably don't take those when it actually running live. I can check that afterwards in regards to the video. Would have been nice if it actually did it, because then the mobile would need less, processor power and all that, and in regards to the upload and so forward. But anyway, it doesn't seem like it actually has complained. So anyway, I have some of these programs as well to try a little more before deleting them. But again, Music Crap was pretty much. I think that was kind of fun. It made it fun to sit there. It was a little like a game, instead of making it to Here we have some of the things on the icon, right? That, that's, yeah, I need to learn about. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, my.
Call from Kasper plus 5.
Anyway, I'll stop now. Have a good one. And may Jehovah bless you. And may Yeshua be that most precious pearl. Don't let go of him when you find him. And, just if you want to find out who Jesus Christ really is, read the books Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the primary book where you find out. That's the center of the Bible in regards to revealing Jesus Christ. That's the first witnesses in regards to this. If you can't trust the first sources, why would you trust any of the later sources, Why would you trust a man coming nearly 600 years after the event, like Muhammad? 600 years, why would you discount the first century sources and all the history and all that, and then go by a man coming 600 years after the event and trust it? I don't understand that. I think that's insane. That's stupid. That's not really using the brain that God gave you, That's just